Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening and welcome. A conference meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held in the council chambers of City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2015, at 7:07 p.m. Roll call. Councilman Coley.
Present.
Councilman Corbett.
Here.
Councilwoman Eason.
Here.
Councilwoman Galt Butler. Will be absent. Councilman Johnson Jr.
Here.
Councilwoman Jamie Summers Johnson. Council President Williams.
Present.
Also present myself, the City Clerk. Fire Director Douglas. Police Director Wade. And City Attorney Dan Smith. Can we please stand for a moment of silence?
Thank you.
Director Mays, how you doing?
President Director Mays, 7:09 p.m. Please be apprised, anyone wishing to discuss agenda or general items shall sign one book. There will be 2 columns in the book, one for agenda items and one for general issues. Each person signing the book will check agenda items or general issues. If they check only agenda items or general issues, they will be allowed to speak for 5 minutes. If they check general issues and agenda items, they will be allowed to speak for 10 minutes. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 et sec, the Sunshine Law, has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published in the record transcript on July 17, 2014, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall and filed in the office of the City Clerk. Madam President, matters for discussion?
Ms. Lascari joined us just now.
Okay. President Joy Lascario, CFO, 7:10.
There are no matters for discussion.
Council President,
Yes.
with regards to matters for discussion,
Yes.
in our last council meeting, I indicated that our acting police director, John Wade, would be willing to do a presentation, and I asked for it to be on today's agenda, but for whatever reason. So I'm asking if it would be okay.
Right.
He is prepared.
Okay. Director Wade, let the record reflect that the matters of discussion will be amended to show none, to include Acting Director John Wade to give a report on police operations.
Good evening. Acting Director of Police John Wade. I will be brief as it relates to the summer crime assertion strategy. First portion of the crime assertion strategy for the summer of 2015 basically is a patrol operations shift / personnel realignment. I am currently looking at realigning the shift assignments as well as personnel in different administrative positions. That's always a hard decision I have to make, but that's why I'm in this position, to make the tough decisions. It's not rubbing well, but we've had some leeway with the unions. I've been discussing some of the personnel issues and some realignments, and I'm confident at the end we'll be able to come to a good understanding on that in the interests of keeping our streets safe. Patrol augmentation, I talked a little bit about that. Basically, there'll be some administrative personnel that will be required to spend a certain amount of hours augmenting the patrol operations throughout the entire summer and probably beyond. Intelligence operations, we continue to work with several outside agencies that drive our patrol and investigative operations as it relates to intelligence that's provided to us. In addition, we also, based upon some of the stuff we receive, reciprocate with providing that intelligence. The wireless camera system expansion, in light of some recent incidents, we are integrating our wireless camera system with areas such as the park, and in addition to that, I'll be looking to expand it in certain problem areas that have been identified. Increased directed patrols, That'll be by not only uniform, but also detective, investigative personnel. I've made it clear during this reorganization that this is not only a uniform patrol function, this is an everybody function, and everybody will somehow contribute to this overall strategy. Quality of life enforcement operations, active warrants, gang activity, public consumption of alcohol, drug dealing, and loud music, to name a few. We'll be dealing with some of those issues in different problem areas that have been identified. Traffic safety checkpoints. I'm looking to do at least 2 a month throughout the course of the summer. Tavern inspections. Our ABC enforcement officer will be linking up with our investigative division, and they'll be conducting some extra tavern inspections in some of those problem areas where these taverns, their patrons act a little unruly during and after the operation of the taverns. We'll be dealing with some of that, and I think we'll be speaking on that issue tonight on another matter. And the last part of the summer safety assertion strategy, education. As you're aware, you may have heard, our Community Service Bureau is going to be doing the Public Safety Academy in conjunction with the Fire Department, my partner back here. And also the Community Service Bureau we're going to be on hand to do some safety initiatives, safety briefings, how not to become a victim, etc. Any questions?
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions for Director Wade? Councilman Corbett?
Yes, Director Wade, you mentioned something about traffic safety?
Yes.
I missed some of that. My mind went someplace else. In that statement, because East Orange has done it, and I know Montclair's been doing it for years, where we have that mechanism in the vehicles that can read your plates and scan you and tell you whether you need to be pulled over or not. Are you going to be implementing that type of operation on a more consistent basis?
Yes, as part of our personnel and operational realignment strategy, there will be a couple of individuals who will be driving that car on a regular basis and get more use out of it.
Mm-hmm. So you still only have the one?
That's ours, yes. We have another one that's furnished by the prosecutor's office that's all being upgraded right now, and we should be receiving that back soon.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you too, oftentimes, at least recently, when there's any type of work being done in our streets, construction or Verizon, whoever, oftentimes now I see the sheriff's department with vehicles manning those positions. I've seen them in East Orange and I've seen them in Orange. How is that working out? Is that helping us in terms of cost when we don't have to put a man there?
No, actually it's not. That was because of an issue with their account. That's a side job. That's not an on-duty person. That's a side job. They pay for that officer to be there for their safety. The reason why, for a while, you were seeing different officers is because there was an issue with accounts being current, and the position was that we're not putting nobody up there until that account becomes current.
I see. Okay, got you. Thank you. That's all I have.
Council members, any other questions? Councilwoman Eason?
I have a question. Director, when the officers are not on call, especially in the evening, is it possible for them to sit in some of the hot spots until there's a call?
I wouldn't say until there's a call. They'll spend a period of time there because they do need to be seen in other areas. But they'll spend a period of time there that they feel is necessary. And once, if they feel they've spent enough time there, they'll go on to their other areas. Now, when we have extra personnel during certain periods of the day, which is part of the realignment strategy, yeah, we'll be posting some guys there for an extended period of time, more so than what they would normally spend on a regular patrol.
I had one of my had requested the car. Newer car, talk about their 6. They would bring it in the evening, and sometimes they pick it up like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we've been doing that lately.
how can I have that more consistent on my block?
I only have so many cars to go around, so
Well, I mean,
I am working on that. There's another, well, it's funny you bring that up because in a couple of weeks, there's going to be something coming before you about vehicles, and that's part of that strategy. So hopefully I'll get your support on that.
The reason I say that is because the longer it stays there, the better it is. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
And it sort of deters. Harold, I'm not joking tonight about that.
I'm serious.
The reason I say that is because when it's there, there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go into the details, but there's a difference. The other thing I wanted to say in answer to Councilman Corbett's question about why the sheriff's office was there is because, I don't know if we had this conversation, but in 2014, we didn't bill some of the companies for any of those side jobs. So that became an issue. Now we're catching up, supposedly, all the accounts are becoming current, but some of them people had to be billed for a whole year. So that was why the cops weren't going to those sites, is because there was no money in the account. And when you hit a company for a year's worth of work in one hit, it makes a difference. But as far as this week is concerned, everything is supposed to be basically caught up, so you should see the officers back on those side jobs.
Thank
Can I
you.
get a side job?
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council members, are there any other, Councilman Foley?
I kind of lost my thought with all the going back and forth.
You want me to come back to you?
Yeah, she can come
Councilman
back to me.
Johnson, did
Thank
you have a question?
Yes, I did. Good evening, Acting Director Wade.
Good evening, sir.
Anything after 12 o'clock, is that what shift is that called? Is that
Midnight
graveyard?
shift.
That's midnight shift.
Mhm.
Do we have a loss of manpower during those hours, like from 12 to 6 in the morning?
No, we have a standardized amount of personnel that are on the street at night, a standardized amount of personnel for every shift, which I won't get into. However, with this realignment strategy, it does afford us some extra personnel during certain hours during that time frame.
Okay. I just wanted to bring that up. I'm not playing the devil's advocate, but in the Westwood, there's quite a few streets that are no overnight parking. And constituents have called me, and the fact that they've called and they don't think people are getting ticketed. So I told her I was going to check to see if it was a manpower issue or patrols in those the units in those specific spots just refuse to ticket cars from 12 o'clock to 6. But that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. And I keep telling everybody, make the call to the police department. Don't worry about, don't get fretted if in fact they're not getting ticketed. We have to continue to make the calls, and I can check out after that. It's becoming an issue in some parts of the West Ward where there's no overnight parking on the street.
Okay, I'll pass that information on to my nighttime
you.
commander.
Thank you.
No problem.
Councilman Coley? I can,
Oh,
okay.
I'm just making a comment here. Thank you, Council President. Regarding Woman's Easton request for a ghost car. My years being on the job, when a ghost car is positioned in a location for an extended period of time, it becomes to be ineffective. There were numerous occasions where we found people asleep in the ghost cars.
Leave
Police
trash
officers
on
or
top of them,
people?
too.
Civilians?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, people. Yes. So they are effective when they are repositioned, periodically. But we just can't leave them in, as Director Wade. No, we can't leave them in one location just for an extended period of time because people do all sorts of kind of things, and they do all kind of things to them.
Thank you.
Well, could I just
Councilwoman
respond?
Neeson?
In the instance that I'm talking about, they don't sit it there anymore like that. They bring it in. So basically, what has been happening, it looks like there's a policeman living on my block. 'Cause the cops comes there and it leaves in the middle of the night. then they might bring it back the next evening. So for all intents and purposes, if I'm on that block right now, I would say, oh, a cop must have moved here because the car doesn't sit there. Years ago, they used to leave it there for weeks at a time. They don't do that anymore. It comes and it goes, it comes and it goes. So I think that's a more effective way to do it because that's what seemed to be working.
Yeah, I made it clear, especially, and you're probably talking about the Memorial Day weekend. I made it clear I don't want it sitting there an abnormal amount of time. I want it moved around, and I don't want it any of them sitting out overnight.
Director,
They've been doing a good job with that.
thank you, Councilwoman Easton. Director Wade, what is the status of the list in terms of new police officers?
We have received a certified list at this time, and I am actively working on an orientation for those named recruit candidate individuals that have been provided to me.
And you said there is a summer plan, and you didn't go into specifics, but does it include our playgrounds?
That includes the playgrounds, especially with the wireless camera system.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Colin?
Council President, Director Wade, is that a municipal list or that's a county list?
That is a municipal list.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, Director Wade, would you like to give a closing statement, or do you have anything else to say?
No, other than once you ask for departmental reports, I'll go over a few things that I've been working on the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
Just so you know, we do it once a quarter with the report from the police department, once a quarter. So this is June, July, August, September will be your next one.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Councilwoman Easton?
Before he sits down, I was going to do this in matters for discussion, but since the director is here, Director, there is an issue with parking on Main Street. Remember years ago, you go on Main Street any day, any time, there is never a parking spot. What we're finding out is the store owners are parking in those spots and feeding the meter all day. Remember years ago, I guess when, I don't know how long ago, there used to be somebody, they would put a chalk on the tires. If you stayed there more than 2 hours, somebody would come down. Is there any plan, or maybe we can take a look at how we can bring some of that back so that people, the shoppers or people coming into the city that want to shop can have parking spaces on? Because I know prior to, and I know when former councilwoman Barbara Peters was here, God rest her soul, if you were a merchant, you couldn't park on Main Street. Because that took up the parking from the customers that want to shop. So can we take a look and see how we can curtail some of that? I don't know.
That is part of our patrol operation shift and personnel realignment strategy. The captain, as part of that, part of the research he did was traffic enforcement, and Main Street was one of those areas that we talked about. So there is something in the works to try to deal with those situations on Main Street with parking and everything else.
Because I know Manny Munez had offered his parking lot that he made in the back. Dunkin' Donuts, that in the merchants they could park there, and he does have cameras back there. So I think we need to make especially at the stores that sells electronics, we need to make an effort to make sure they know they cannot park on Main Street. And maybe it's just a matter of sending them a notice, or I don't know. But could we take a look at that?
No problem.
Thank you.
Councilman Coley?
Yeah, Councilman Easton, just to follow up with that, that is an issue. And in addition to that, due to that development behind the post office, the parking lot that was taken out, we have a lot of commuters who now park on Main Street. If you come on Main Street about 7:30 in the morning, you can see them parking their vehicles and walking right to the train station. So that's another issue.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or statements? Thank you, Director Wade.
You're welcome.
Okay. For the record, Ms. Homer is also present from the City Clerk's office, Director Matt, 711, and Mr. Harris, Legislative Research Officer, 724.
Thank you. At this time, Council members, do you have any ordinances and/or resolutions that you would like to discuss this evening? And while council members go through their, to prepare for the public, there are two proposed walk-on, a new 165, 2015, and there was 164 that was not in the package. They're both out on the table if anybody didn't get it. Council members,
165 is on the agenda,
both of them are on the agenda. They were not in the package.
so you're not walking it on?
No, they're both on the agenda.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to say that 165 is a request from the ABC board.
Okay.
We're having some issues right now because they passed a resolution that required all taverns have armed security, police officers for security. So in an effort to get the officers to work those positions, we had to increase the amount they were getting paid. And if you read it, you see that construction went up to 85, and taverns and some of the other went up to 55. Any other things would be $32 at the normal rate,
Okay.
outside of those. But that's why we needed to put that on. So I'm hoping that the council will support that so that we can fulfill our requests that we made for the taverns to get the officers to work those side jobs.
Council President.
Councilman Corbett?
Councilwoman Easton, I mean, the money that they're asking for, it's not something that is out of the ordinary. That's something that is pretty much standard throughout various municipalities. Is that right?
Right, yes.
All right. Thank you.
Are there any other resolutions and ordinances that the council would like to discuss? Councilman Johnson?
Yes, Council President. While we're on 165, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Under the construction one, those fees are paid by the contractor, correct?
Yes. And we get $5.
Okay. All right, that's all I needed to ask.
Council members? Need a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Easton. Roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Williams, I am in favor as well. Moving right into our regular meeting.
A regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held in the Council Chamber, City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Wednesday, June 3rd, 2015, immediately following the conference meeting. May we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilman Coley,
Present.
Councilman Corbett,
Here.
Councilwoman Easton,
Here.
Councilwoman Gaunt Butler, absent. Councilman Johnson Jr.,
Here.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson, Council President Williams.
Present.
Also present myself, the city clerk, the city attorney, Mr. Smith, Mr. Mapp, director. Did he-
He's not doing
oh,
that.
okay. Mr. Mapp, the director of finance, Ms. Lascari, the CFO, Mr. Harris, the legislative research officer, Mr. Wade, the acting police director, Mr. Douglas, the fire director, Mr. Mays, the administration representative, Ms. Homer, city clerk's office. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 et sec, the Sunshine Law, has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published in the record transcript on July 17, 2015, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall and filed in the office of the city clerk. Approval of the minutes, April 7, 2015, conference and regular meeting minutes.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Easton. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
April 21st, 2015, conference and regular meeting minutes.
there a motion?
Move.
Motion by Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Easton. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
and I am in favor as well.
May 5th, 2015, conference and regular meeting.
Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Corbett, second by Councilwoman Easton. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
and I am in favor as well.
Item number 5, reports. Constable reports. There are no constable reports. Oprah requests. There are no Oprah request reports. Council reports.
Councilwoman Easton, do you have anything with the ABC board?
I think I went over it when the director was here with the resolution
Okay.
that we should help clear up
Planning.
some of the things.
Okay.
Planning, just so you know that Central Valley is back for another vote tonight. They took out the small houses, they readjusted some things. So planning is hoping that we can get some support so we can move forward to looking at, this is just to give us an opportunity to look at what needs to happen in the city of Orange, to see what development or things that need to be done.
Okay.
It's not approving any development, it's not proving us to, it's just to take a look, okay?
Thank you, Councilwoman Easton. Councilman Corbett, I don't want to assume that you don't have anything else to say for the police department, but,
You would be right.
oh, okay. So, police, is there a report from the police department?
No.
So I will be right. Fire department, Councilwoman Butler is not available. Director Douglas, is there anything that you need? You can come up if you need to have a statement.
Kenneth Douglas, Director of Fire Department. Couple things of discussion, what's going on in the fire department. First of all, back in April, the fire department had gotten approval by the Red Cross to host this first responder CPR program. Now, initially, this program will start off with the fire personnel, getting them cleared and up to date. Some of the new candidates that came in, they have that training through the academy. Some of the veteran firefighters didn't have it. So to get the entire department up to speed, that's one thing we're looking to do. Beyond training the fire personnel, we're going to extend this same service to city personnel, also free of charge, then extend it to the residents once the fire personnel are caught up to date. Second, just to piggyback on Director Wade talking about the Junior Public Safety Academy, this is the first time, actually it was the Junior Police Academy, so we integrated between both departments to add a public safety element in total so that those children who are picked for this program have the benefit of knowing police and fire public safety in the city of Orange. One thing the fire service is going to offer, since we do the first responder program in CPR, the Red Cross recognizes CPR certification with 10-year-olds, so the academy actually have 12 to 16. So at the conclusion of them completing the academy, all the candidates, they'll be all CPR certified. Also want to add that we just attained a new OEM coordinator, Mr. Tharian Arnold. He's actually
Who?
Tharian Arnold.
Darian Arnold?
Tharian with a TH.
Darian Arnold, okay.
He actually is a former OEM coordinator for the city of Newark. Since Director Wade became the director of the police department, he had to vacate that position. In turn, we had to acquire another coordinator for the OEM. Fire department is facing manpower shortages due to vacations. I know in years past, because of this reason, companies were driving one, maybe two-man trucks. I'm not really a proponent of that, or actually would like that, because it makes us far from being NFPA compliance, as I spoke to early in the year about wanting to get the SAFER grant. So is being proposed, and talks has been with the union and the fire chief, as actually closing one company, but the manpower wouldn't change. I'd rather have a a full company than just one person riding one truck and taking it to the fire scene. So I'd rather have 4 in the truck than just one. It really doesn't make any sense. The manpower is more important than just bringing a vehicle to the scene. Now, within the last 8 weeks, we had several injuries in the fire with firefighters, ranging from things in the firehouse opposed to things off the job, which actually we had a surge of shortage of manpower. And traditionally, the fire department, what I've discovered, the fact that the training has been a little lax. And it's one of the things and proponents I'm proposing and actually implementing in the fire service itself. We're actually right now in the process of doing certifications of everybody equally, engine and truck company operations. Now, one thing why I'm doing this is not only because everybody's in training. Also, we have 2 new pieces of equipment that's coming in the fall. So I'm really concerned the fact that everybody knows how to work this equipment and without it getting any accidents or anything. And also what's coming up in July, tentative, I think mid-July, the entrance exam for the fire department is, the application should be out. I've been talking to the administration, and basically I want to do a campaign and put it out through the city for the residents, to those who want to apply and have aspirations of being a firefighter. So I have my wish number that I want, which candidates I want to apply. So I'm working with them to actually have posters and have sit downs and let people visit the firehouse just to look at the fire service and to see if it could be a career option for them.
Any updates on fires in the city?
Oh, it was a fire today that actually went to the 3rd alarm. I think it's Hamilton Street. Highland, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Highland Terrace.
Highland Terrace. Actually, it's a dead-end street. It was an abandoned property, 3-story residential home, single family. Pretty tough fire because the front of the building actually had electric wire right in front. Now, mind you, it's a lot of fire that was in the roof area, and it was kind of difficult for the firefighters to get the area with the master stream up to put the fire out of respects to the not getting electrocuted. But they had to maneuver it. They positioned the rig properly, in a good way. They did maneuver it to a way that they did get the fire out through that. And, of course, went inside and took offensive position and put the fire out. I think the fire is under control right now. It actually started about, I would say about 2 o'clock. So being about a 4-hour fire. It's under control right now. No injuries at the fire. It was an abandoned home, so nobody got displaced. And actually, it was 2 exposures that actually were saved through the efforts of Orange Fire Department.
Thank you very much. Council members, any questions for Director Douglas?
Yes, Council President.
Councilman Coley?
Are we talking closing of an engine or closing of the firehouse on Washington Street?
No, the firehouse on Washington Street is not an option. It's just an engine company. It will be on Central Avenue. There's 2 engines in the truck that comes out that particular quarters.
So Washington Street is going to be closed?
No, Washington Street is going to be open. It's going to maintain being open, and minimum with 4 personnel.
Okay, all right.
Because they're on that far side of town, they need that protection.
Right.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Eason?
I just wanted to note that I did speak to the athletic director at the high school, and I told him to contact you if they needed training for the defibrillators.
Yes.
He seems to think they were all trained, but he will contact you to see if there's any additional things that.
Okay, we have actually that equipment coming in for the first responder class.
Yeah. So you have a class now, right?
We're in the process of doing the firefighters right now, and then it's going to extend to city personnel.
Yeah, I'm going to text you his number so you can let him know if he wants to send his coaches. He can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that it? Any other questions?
I do have.
Councilman Johnson? And for the record, Councilwoman Summers Johnson's arrived at
7:36.
Thank you.
Director, you made reference to Signal 3 or whatever your code was. Can you explain to me what that is?
The code of, I didn't hear you.
You said something about a Signal 3 or 3
A
level?
third alarm?
Yeah, third alarm.
Initially, a first alarm will be I guess a one-room fire. Pretty much, it's a fire. Second alarm probably be more of the building involved, and a third alarm would constitute a heavy exposure problem. So more companies are needed, of course, and more fire company operations. So with the threat of exposure on the B, which is the left and the right side,
Okay.
even though it was an abandoned structure, but the left and right side, those were occupied buildings that they did had to evacuate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Director Douglas.
Thank you.
Housing Authority?
Council President, can I lead with finance first, because it's real brief, and then I just kind of.
You can do finance.
Well, for finance report, there will be a budget workshop tomorrow for council members. I believe that's open to the public? Or is that private?
It's open to the public.
Budget
It's open to the
workshop.
public.
It's open to the
Yes.
public. That's tomorrow at 6:30?
6:30.
6:30 will be a CY 2015 budget work session tomorrow.
To continue,
huh?
to continue. Final. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
To continue the budget process, correct. Orange Housing Authority, just a quick verbal. I talked to Director McNeil. He just wanted me to briefly let everybody know they had a very successful 75th anniversary that was honoring Governor Cody. Many of council members were in attendance, and it was a really nice affair. Also, on Oakwood Avenue, the 7-unit development is going to be opening up real soon. They're screening people for residents now for occupancy, and also I believe last week, if not, they had the groundbreaking for the Walter G. Alexander Village Phase 3. They had the actual groundbreaking, so that development is up and running also. So Orange Housing Authority is really busy. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. I believe I received library.
I don't have a report. I will have one next time because my questions weren't answered. I wanted the things that I needed. I didn't want to report the same stuff. So next meeting I'll have it.
Is there a report from the Public Works Committee, Director?
Oh wait, because I saw somebody on Main Street, so she's gonna tell you about the library. Let her tell you.
Okay.
Let her handle the library report.
Okay.
I didn't want to distract you. Go ahead.
What are you doing over there?
I was driving.
Well,
Council-
if you haven't gone by lately, you should go by the library. It has been landscaped. It was done on Saturday morning.
Mhm.
It looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The guy did an excellent job. We were
Yes, he-
taking pictures
yes.
today with the landscaper
Mm-hmm.
that donated his time and effort and all of the plants. And he continues to cut the grass, so he's gonna watch it and make sure that it's taken care of, and the library personnel is gonna watch. And I donated 4 plants for the opening,
Mm-hmm.
outdoor plants.
Okay.
But they're inside and they're dying.
So they need to come out.
So I'm going over there and collect them and buy them some inside plants because they were supposed to put them out every day, but they were so afraid somebody was going to steal them,
Mm-hmm.
so they didn't do that. So now the outdoor plants look pretty horrible, but and I told them I wouldn't take them today because they would look too naked.
Mhm.
So we had to put some other ones in there so it
You
give a little
gotta take
flavor
them
to
and prune them, Council.
So that's my library report for today.
You did an excellent job. And we want to thank Andrea Landscaping. He wasn't born in Orange, but he lived in Orange.
Mhm.
He graduated Orange High School, and this is the way of him giving back to the community because his business has always been in Orange. His parents still live here, and he just loves Orange and he wants to see it prosper and grow.
He's a Henry, what's his business?
It's on Henry
Henry
Street.
Street, right.
Yeah, so I have a couple of other projects that I'll talk about, but we're going to do the fight.
She'll wear them out.
Not for him. Oh, and one other thing, he just also, as part of Saturdays, he did the George Carnegie Memorial. It is gorgeous. So if you haven't gone by the corner
Okay.
of, what is that, North Date and Freeway Drive,
Mhm.
he gave her 2 roses, rose
South,
bushes.
that's south there. Joyce
South-
Carnegie, yeah.
Yeah,
It's south there.
yeah,
Freeway Drive,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
But it is gorgeous. He did an excellent job. And between him and the fire department, I think they're going to maintain it. with the watering and those things.
He's like, yes. Yes, we know to say yes.
Director Mays, Public Works.
I don't have any report at this time.
I believe there's a meeting next Thursday. At what time?
7 o'clock.
So the Public Works Committee is meeting next Thursday, which is the 11th, 7 p.m. in Council Conference Room. Clerk, please move the agenda.
Communication and petitions. There are no communications nor petitions at this time. Pursuant to Section 4-10 of the Code of the City of Orange Township, each person addressing the council shall step up to the microphone, shall give his or her name in an audible tone for the record, and unless further time is granted by the presiding officer, shall limit his or her address to 10 minutes. The public is expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted. The chair will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments.
Thank you. Councilwoman Summers Johnson, where'd she go? Did she? Can you check on her, Councilman Johnson? To get the book.
Is that what you think?
Oh, okay.
You thought I got attacked, right? Sorry.
She
said it's still
silent because you with the police.
That's what I'm with the police. I'm safe. Yes.
William R. Lewis.
Good evening, Council President. Thank you very much, members of the Orange City Council. My name is William R. Lewis. I live at 688 Mosswood Avenue. And, in the course of our travels, we often list the attributes that one should have. And two of the things that generally slip by the wayside, particularly when we talk about political leadership, is honesty and trust. And these are virtues that must exist in all people, especially elected officials. Papers full of stories about how people have broken their trust. And it's up to the council and various legislative bodies to select their leadership with care and the uncertainty that the leader is going to exhibit those attributes. Council President Williams, last meeting, I believe it was, you said that the funding for the televising of the council meetings was switched from the mayor's office to the council's office. Would you have the clerk get me a copy of that legislation that enabled this action to take place? And Ordinance 34-2015, the question the council has to ask, does the engineering organization approve this move? Ordinance 35-2015 talks about, shows excluding the act, but there's no discussion on what is the replacement. Then Ordinance 36, dealing with vacant properties, someone needs to explain phrase in there, other, quote, other responsible parties. Resolution 161, Galento Plaza, why is appearing that the city is hiring a consultant for this project when that seems to be something that should be the responsibility of the developer? And finally, Resolution 161, the temporary budget.
What you said, 161?
162, I'm sorry.
162, that's okay.
Right. These numbers should be 1/12 of the calendar year 2014 budget. Why is there a difference? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Jeff Bell.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Feld. I am an attorney and a local business person whose local address is 268 Main Street, Orange, New Jersey. As my custom, I've posted various heads-up questions and comments on the city's www.nj.com public website, and hopefully I will get some answers later tonight some of those posted questions. First, my family and my employees like to send our condolences to two people that are been very involved in Orange, or were born in Orange. One is Gus Marchese, who is executive vice president of PNC. He passed away last week. I mean, he was a fixture at that corner of Scotland and Main Street. And the other one was Judge Debevoise, Dixon Debevoise's wife died. She was born in Orange. Federal Judge Debevoise was a freedom fighter. And early in my career, I was able to have pixie dust sprinkled on me by being peered and being trained by some of the things with Debevoise, Judge Debevoise. There's certain things that we need to discuss tonight. I'm getting stoked by some recent developments. Last week, the city filed their appellate brief and felled 13. The city council needs to review the 2-page analysis filed by the Warren administration explaining why citizens and residents are not entitled to answers to their questions during public hearings. No cases, no statute is cited by the city. Basically, the argument is Mr. Feld is a lunatic, don't allow him. You need to look at this 2-page analysis. In addition, the city filed a cross appeal seeking monetary sanctions, claiming my litigation was frivolous and vexatious litigation. In the brief, the city does not comment on it. They don't do that. It seems that the city has dropped their cross appeal. The question is, why are citizens paying for the filing fees and doing this? I think it was intimidation. I'm excited by some recent cases that are coming out at the appellate division. I'm so excited about what the United States Supreme Court talked about conscious behavior and with criminal liability. One thing I think we need to have explained to us tonight before this evening's over is an application that's going to be heard next week in the United States Bankruptcy Court, regarding the lease and option agreement with the YWCA. Attached to it is an executed agreement. I wish the city attorney was here so he could answer some questions, because under the Orange Administration Code, before the mayor could sign this agreement had to be reviewed and approved by the city attorney. There's certain representations in here to the court that this agreement was approved by the city council. And this ties into earlier about minutes. You had a special meeting. How come the minutes for that special meeting were not approved tonight? It occurred between the April 7th and the other meeting. While we're on that issue about minutes, where are the minutes for last year's June 25th, 2014 special budget hearing? How come those minutes haven't done? Because case law that came out last week, courts are saying, city councils, basically you have 30 days, 45 days to approve minutes of your meetings, whether they're executive sessions, regular meetings, or special meetings. You can't not approve it. We're coming up to almost a year that the minutes for this contested September 25th budget hearing are not here. In addition, when you look at this agreement, there's a statement that $100,000 deposit was delivered to the bankruptcy trustee. How did that happen? We have not approved the budget yet. Last year there was no monies appropriated for a YWCA lease. How did money, under what authority did that money get from the city coffers to the bankruptcy trustee? And there's also questions, and I've never ever received an answer from the city attorney or the legislative research officer of whether you can approve a lease where the city is the lessee by resolution. Because the way I read state statute, it had to be done by ordinance. This is going to be interesting because I have a feeling there are going to be several people appearing in the United States Bankruptcy Court next week at the hearing and just explaining, those representations that a 21-page agreement that's signed by our mayor, who's an attorney, was approved by this body. That did not happen. And I wish Councilperson Gaunt Butler was here, because she said specifically there was no agreement. We're getting in a very tricky area. As to the agenda, this goes back to the appropriations. How much money have we spent? Where are the monies to the lease? I will talk about the ordinances later, But we have to be concerned about the temporary appropriations. Where are we? Because one of the issues that we're going to have to discuss was what happened last year, where there was a rescission. Did we get the benefit of the cap ordinance last year? And if you read the transcripts in front of the local finance board, they're basically saying, oops, why aren't taxpayers really getting the benefit of what they should have got last year? That the appropriation should have been under the cap law, especially because basically 5 days prior to the introduction of the original budget, there was an offering statement issued by the city that's signed by our chief financial officer. You should read the 3 or 4 pages talking about the budget process and the cap ordinance. Because this is what, I mean, this is how I'm spending the month, is writing a brief. But this evening, we need to have an answer from someone from the city legal department as to under what authority was the 20-page agreement executed by our mayor. It's not attested by the city attorney, the city clerk. And how did $100,000, under what statute, authorize the Warren administration to deliver $100,000 to the bankruptcy trustee? I'll speak about the ordinances on second reading at the other time. In addition, as to questions, can we just have status as to 2 things? There was a special meeting about last week about the bulk tax lien. Was a deposit ever made or received by the city? Because there was, I think it was a 10-day or 7-day, 7 days. So we're approximately getting there. Has the money been received yet? And 2, did the mayor approve or veto the citizens' comment limitation ordinance? Because as of Friday, I had not received an answer to that question. Thank you.
The mayor, I'm sorry, Mr. Feld, vetoed the ordinance regarding.
No, approve it, sign it, you know, because the ordinance that you had, the citizen comment ordinance, was sent to the mayor's office for either approval,
Right.
veto, or let it lapse and let it go effective. I'm just trying to find out where we are in the 10-day process, because as of last Friday, I hadn't been told where we are.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feld. Caitlin Gordon.
Good evening, Katalin Gordon, 211 Park Place. To start with, I would like to start for once with a positive comment. I noticed that those parts of the street that I walk are cleaner than usual. So that's an improvement. I noticed today there is the water quality information out on the desk. It is a June 2015 issue, so I cannot say for sure, because we are in the very beginning of June, that it will not be delivered by mail to the households, but that's a requirement. And if it could be here, I would think it at the same time could be in my mailbox as well, but it hasn't been. The city has been kind of skimping on this information and made it so that instead of sending out the information itself, it stands out little cards. If you are interested, come in and pick up one, which makes it much more difficult for everybody. People are, it is not a very simple information. It really takes a bit of studying, and so even if one receives it and starts paging it, so a card is not satisfactory, and nothing is even less satisfactory. Let's pay attention. What is happening with this information? Is it going to be delivered? I think delivery is, some kind of a delivery is statutory requirement. I would like to remind you that 2 weeks ago, a representative of the EPA was here talking about water quality and their involvement. They asked for direct access. I had some opportunity to talk to the representative regarding regarding those very same two wells, the cleanliness for a particular issue, and that is radionuclides, which is the radioactive component of the water contaminants. The person said that gave me a card and took my card or my information, promising that somebody will be back responding, and that hasn't happened. It is a very important issue, in my opinion, and I have been after representatives of the state and blah blah blah, and never gotten anywhere. So it comes to a point that is getting very tiresome, and I am hoping that the council shows an active interest in this kind of things. It is not easy to understand. It is not, radioactive measurements are surprisingly taken only automatically once every 9 years. So if anybody is under the impression that the state and the government is keeping a close eye on it, that's not the case, and we have to be aggressive about it ourselves. So I am requesting your active involvement in that, to sit down with me and understand what is going on and back up this effort. Here is something nitpicking regarding this is an ordinance of non-emergency vehicles. Something with the language is not quite right. Take a second look. It says non-emergency vehicles for the purpose of this section shall include vehicles not utilized by the fire and police department, and should also include those city personnel, and so and so. So the language is not grammatically correct. The city personnel is not the definition, not under the definition of a vehicle. Okay, here is the ordinance. No, it is a resolution 160, 2015. The New Jersey to receive a Clean Communities grant program of $29,095, and I would like to hear what the conditions set to receive that grant. This is something that I have started looking into, and I would like to have it responded to and discussed. It is about committees. I have taken out from the municipal code book the definitions. I am going to read them, but I would like you, Council President, to have a copy to follow what I am talking about.
Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Thank you. So under paragraph 412, committees, the Council shall provide by ordinance for each standing committee and by resolution for each special Council committee to be appointed by the President. Standing committees shall consist of 3 members of the council and 4 members of the public, to be appointed by council members not serving on the committee. And jumping to paragraph 417, standing committees enumerated in the code and membership. Number one is Standing Committee on Budget and Finance, and it describes the duties of the Budget and Finance Committee, that it advises the municipal council concerning the financial affairs of the city, review the proposed annual budget submitted by the mayor, and consult with the auditor, and so on and so forth. And at other places reviewing, I don't believe there is such a standing committee as specified here under this paragraph. It is my understanding that the council itself has a committee, a financial committee that excludes the public, and the public has a financial committee that is not standing and then excludes the council. So I know that the CPAC is not happy because it is wanting a standing committee status, and yet it doesn't apply to anything that is specified, as far as I understand, in the code book. So I would like you to explain it. If I think if my reading is right, that probably the council's finance committee should be opened up for public members.
Thank you. And you have 1 minute.
Okay, will be done with it. Regarding vacant and abandoned properties, 150. It contains the language that the notification of the city council to be provided with written report outlining the status of the abandoned properties is every 6 months, and I think that is too long of a period. If you look into the code, the transition from vacant to abandoned properties is 6 months itself. Currently, the administration produces a combined vacant and abandoned property list. So I think it needs a more frequent and detailed following of what is happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Gloria Stewart.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Gloria Stewart, a resident of Orange. Sorry I missed the last meeting. My loss, and I guess your gain.
No.
However, I want to just start off on a positive note too. You missed a treat at Haywood Avenue School today. We had a multicultural day. It was really well done. And I know the South Ward council people, they were aware of it. So the president was invited as well to come. So it was like really, as I said, well attended. And I wish you had come. You missed a treat. I want to move on to the Housing Authority, the report by Mr. Johnson. Did I say that right, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, you did.
Johnson Jr.
Okay, all right, okay, no harm, no disrespect. But I want to just say that you made comment about the groundbreaking again over on Oakwood Avenue, the new, my concern is the dust, the dirt that, they're turning over, and the students are still in school. And to me, I think that's unhealthy because we lived at the time when the apartments were built in back of Oakwood. It was a lot of dust, soot, and everything. No regard given to the staff, the students mainly. So I'm saying some consideration needs to be given. I know they are in a rush to build, and it shouldn't be by any means necessary. And when I say that, let's keep the children in mind, and even in terms of the noise level, and like I said, mainly the dust. It should be held off until, school is almost about to close. So that should be given consideration. Not to go a little deeper, once you get those buildings up, my concern is parking. Parking is an issue, not just for that area, especially on my block. So I'm wondering if anything can be done. And I had inquired about a driveway, and I'm told that it's not enough space and it takes a whole lot of money, which I don't have. I live in the East Ward, so the stepchild of the Orange, So I just wanted to bring that up. Some consideration needs to be given as we build, and to say that we're giving 1 or 1.5 parking space per unit, that's just not going to work, and we know that. But the thing is to get the shovel in the ground and get the buildings up, and then later for the people who move in. So I just want to give you that as food for thought, and I know they're getting ready to open the new building that's further down. Same situation, even though it's all beautifully decked out for parking, that's not going to solve our parking problem. So I just want to put that out. And I just want to also, since I'm talking about building, the building that's over by the train station, I think it's a monster, and the way it's coming up, and I guess it's going to be good because it serves the purpose for the people who are building it. And I wish, and I know it's water over the dam, that some consideration had been given to that building. It's just, it's a monster, and we're only 2.2 square miles. So when we give developers building, let's think about that. We can't even get a community center. And that takes me to my another concern. A few weeks ago, we were all in here talking about the Y, getting it for some kind of activities, and what's the status of that? Haven't heard anything about it. And I know before that, the Board of Ed had come to you asking if they could get your support, and I think that sort of just went out the window. But those are some things I'm giving as food for thought that's happening in this 2.2 square mile township. I want to move down to my same issues I raised. And I know it's not your issue, because if it were, you would take care of it. But perhaps if the mayor hears this, he should be here, as in the past other mayors did come, even if they showed maybe once or twice every other meeting. And I'm saying it for him to hear. He needs to be here for the constituents who voted him in, whether he has anything to say or just sit and listen. And so that's a message to him. Now I want to go a little bit further. The other issue I raised is our financial director. Do we need him? And if he's the mayor of another city, why is he here? Is that any conflict? And I know you got a legislative research officer. Is there a conflict? And there's some other things that are happening that as council, our city people, we need to look at. And in that same vein, now, in the past we had financial officer, and I sort of get mixed up because I'm not as, up to it as you guys with the working of the council. And I'm thinking in terms of, do you really need that financial person? Would the one in the name of Mrs. Scary, if she doesn't mind me calling her, would she be enough? and I guess it's some things that needs to be checked. And I'm just putting that out there for you as the people who legislate, and we need to do something about that. The other thing, the BA, how long? And I know, and this is no disrespect to Marty, who sits there doing the best he can at what he does, already has a plate full. We need a BA. A BA. And then I'm wondering, and I think I've said it before, is there anything that residents can do to have that done? Do we need to go maybe 7 on the side? And I think I mentioned that to you before. Why can't we have a BA? And I've been coming here a long time, and we've had one. And I'm going to say this, and I hope it gets to the mayor. You know, if he really was concerned about the workings of this city, I would think he would want a BA sitting there. No disrespect to Marty, understood, but I would think he would want a BA sitting there. The other thing I wanted to ask, and it's all in the same vein, our televised communication operator. Do we still have that title on the book? Do you have a director for that? And if so, and we don't have communications, where's the money? Is he getting paid for that job? We need to look into that. So I'm just saying, so much is going on, and if he's getting paid for that, we should have communication. If not, then he shouldn't be, paid. So I'm asking you at the next meeting to have some answers for me, if no one else, as a resident. If that communication, and I won't say names because I know how things work, but I know the last name that was mentioned, and I don't know if it's still in place. If that person is on your budget list or however it works, I'd like to know. I'd like a report on that, if that's not asking too much. Then I want to go to, and I'm going to say this, and this is reference to the police department. I know we just spent $500,000 in police cars, and I live in Orange, and I see a lot of East Orange patrolling our borders. Today, they were circling, and I didn't see not one orange police car. And I don't know if it's because it's black and it's hard to see, and that's just my own feeling about the colors of the police car. But East Orange colors are we know they're police cars. You understand where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, if you spent that much money for police cars, why is East Orange patrolling over in my area? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if they had a problem, I would think they would reach out to our officers and have them patrol our area. Because it's just get more and more. So that's something that we need to check out. Now, while I'm talking about police, I remember that I think several months ago, I had asked if we could have a crossing guard in front of Haywood Avenue School, and it's sorely needed. We don't need to wait until something goes wrong. And I had spoken to Director Sims way back, and I think even before you guys started with your budget or whatever. And crossing guards, they don't make a whole lot, but a child's life is a lot. And they work hard, and I'm wondering if we could get a crossing guard to be in front of Haywood Avenue School. I'm there, I see some of the things that take place, and staff, parents shouldn't have to interact with the drivers. So that's something I would hope that you would get done, if not now because school is almost over. When we come back to school in September, we should have a crossing guard posted in front of Haywood Avenue School.
Ms. Stewart, you have 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. I spoke about the why. The water. I hope that you don't do any more business with the East Orange. Remember, we had business dealing with them in terms of our water. We had to preach to take our water back. We should be well on our way in terms of taking care of our own water. And then before my other second go away, I see you have a water report. But it would be also, and this is nice, but I would like to see a person come and give us a water breakdown. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't get this. And then now with no televising of the meeting, most people still won't get it. But if we can do that, have them come, accountability. All right, and thanks, one more thing, thanks for the interpretation. I think that's wonderful. Thank you, thank you. And I have more questions, but I know my time is gone, and I will always come back if it's the Lord's will. Thank you.
Is it Detective or Officer Holmes? You don't look like Detective Holmes. But okay. You taking his time? Much as he talk, he don't have nothing to say.
Hi, how everybody doing today? Well, tonight rather. I'm sorry.
Start off with your name.
I would definitely will. My name is Officer Joseph Lane, Orange Police Department, President of the Local 89 PBA. I'm here to have you guys, if possible, you got to bear with me. It's the first time I'm actually doing this, to amend or to help us out to amend the traffic and our side jobs that we have currently done. We do. I think you guys all got a copy, so if you want me to read it all, I will. If not,
Councilwoman Eason was kind enough to stand in your stead earlier, and she explained why the council should support it. She kind of outlined what the details were and asked that the council support it based on a need. And then Councilman Corbett also chimed in to let us know that the request of increase that you're making is pretty much the general pay in this area. So we have been briefed. If you want to say something beyond that, and you can say that again, but if you want to say something beyond that, but both Councilwoman Eason and Corbett.
Councilwoman Williams.
We'll think about it.
So we just like all of a sudden need to know we're okay. We're okay.
yeah.
We're okay. We're okay.
If anybody have any questions, I'll be glad to ask. We're just
Councilman,
trying to keep
okay,
up.
well, if at the time, if we'll come up, if we have any questions.
I can go.
Yes.
We'll be here all night. Please, when she get up.
No, I'm gonna go out the door, man.
The Valley needs you.
Thank you. Have a nice night. You too.
A motion to close citizens' comments. Moved by
Second.
Councilman Corbett, second by Councilman Johnson Jr. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Going back to the questions, the statements. Ms. Stewart referenced a resolution that was before this council ordinance regarding emergency supply utilizing the city of East Orange water services for emergency. The council has sent that back to the administration and asked for them to see are there any alternatives other than just the city of East Orange, so that we can look at all alternatives. So it has not come back before this council. Director Wade, have you heard Mrs. Stewart's request regarding a crossing guard at Haywood? Do you have a response? As well as the East Orange PD patrolling our borders. And then I think you should shout, if there is a process if East Orange has to cross into Orange, you can highlight that too.
Yes, Acting Director John Wade, Orange Police Department. With respect to the crossing guard, I had no knowledge of that. I will discuss that with the crossing guard supervisors and see if that's feasible and how do we work to, get to that. With respect to East Orange, I'm not aware of any incidents that took place today. I usually get a crime report twice a day for the first 12 hours and the second 12 hours. And as of the report I got before I got here, no incidents. They may have increased some of their border patrols, and they come through town as we do there sometime. but I'm not aware of any incidents as to why that would happen. No type of incidents took place along the border, any shootings or any type of major incidents like that. So they may have been looking for somebody, who knows, I don't know. So.
And do they have to contact you or just on a chase or when,
Usually when it's a serious situation, they will notify us and request our assistance, or they will notify us as it relates to a special investigation or something like that. They will notify us as the investigation progresses.
Okay.
Council President,
Councilwoman Eason.
since I work in these joints, one of the reasons they do that, and they will continue to do the borders, and because East Orange has a lot of cops, and one of the things that they do is control the borders, not only in Orange but also in Newark. And when our kids are get out of school, they ride like that to make sure all of the children get home safe and nobody's up the street fighting and beating up and jumping anybody. So that is customary for them to do that. You probably continue to see them do that every day because that is a policy they have in East Orange. They try to protect the school children during that time of day to make sure they all get home safely. And they have enough cops to do that. So, I mean, the more cops we see, the better it is, no matter what border they're on. It's just better for all of us.
Thank you. Councilman Coley.
Council President, what my neighbor is really referring to is on our block. The police, even before I retired, I had to, correct the East Orange police several times that you are in Orange. You're not in East Orange. And our block borders East Orange. And they, for some reason, for some time, want to come in East Orange and try to enforce minor motor vehicle violations, parking violations, and things like that. And sometimes they even stop people. I understand that if a crime is committed in East Orange and they may see a suspect who maybe who've come from the direction of East Orange and now you're in Orange, but it is just a blatant disrespect to come into Orange and try and enforce parking violations. That is the root cause of this.
Councilman Corbett and Councilman Coley, you are the police liaison, so if you can get with Director Wade and hopefully have a report as to how that's going to be rectified going forward.
Thank you, Council President.
Okay. Thank you, Director Wade.
For the record, Attorney White arrived at 8:05 p.m.
Thank you. Regarding the Channel 35, I will tell you that this council has probably done many things to compel the administration to get 35 up and running. It has been told to this council that it's in the process. The same personnel that has always been in that position is still in that position. When the council did not get the response of getting 35 back up and running, we resorted to what we can do, and that was simply videotaping and creating online. I will tell you that the person who videotapes and puts it's up in a very timely fashion. YouTube is free, it's accessible, and I understand everybody may not have access to the computer, but in terms of what this council has power to do, we have extended that power, and it is up in all meetings are up there since October 21st. And we will keep with Channel 35. It has been noted your remarks, Ms. Stewarts, regarding the BA and the mayor's presence, and your concern in terms of our director of finance, who also sits as a mayor in another town. There has been no conflict that has been put before this council in terms of him serving in both roles. So I understand your concern, but there's no conflict, and it's not. The state of New Jersey does allow it. Updates on the community center, the YWCA. Nothing has come back before this council regarding updates since the last meeting. And entertainment of a request from the Orange Board of Education was that the council would support funds that they want to be put aside to improve the pool aquatic center at the Y, and the council did support that portion of what the Orange Board of Education did ask. Councilman Johnson Jr., you noted everything regarding the Housing Authority?
Yes, and I'd like to comment on that.
Yes, sir.
In my role as a council person, in seeking information from the Orange Housing Authority, I will gladly send an email of concerns to Director Walter McNeil. But these projects are ongoing and been in fruition for a number of years, and when they get to the point where they're breaking ground and building stuff, I don't think the citizens can stop the ball from rolling. And I will relay to him dust concerns, noise concerns for the school and so forth. But as a council person, I don't know how much sway I might have.
Thank you. Ms. Stewart, thank you for your invite to Multicultural Day at Haywood. I apologize. I had a doctor's appointment earlier and I was there long, but we did send it out to all the council members, so I don't know if any got to attend, but if so, they will comment during their council comments. The Bandit Property Revenue Report, right now stating every 6 months. Ms. Gordon suggested that it should be sooner than that, and I'm going to actually have Councilman Coley and Councilman Johnson kind of have a conversation with Director Mays with that, since you guys are working very diligently on these properties. Is that okay?
I think this shouldn't hold up the ordinance.
No. I'm just
concern.
saying in terms of even if we have to keep improving things.
Yes, correct.
Ms. Gordon did give me the committees, and the council has so noted the concerns with how we do committees. The CBAC is a standing committee generally convened during the budget season. There has been discussion, and there will be continued discussion regarding a standing committee that will always be convened for several years. But the current CBAC, although it's made up of citizens, does have the availability of council members to participate. We're only a phone call away, and that is clearly noted. In fact, for this budget season, the Finance Committee and the CBAC had 2 meetings where they sat down with the budget consultant and all of the members to go over what they have to do and to see if they had any questions and make sure they had all the tools they needed to inform and to make critical suggestions regarding the budget. I will say that that council members listen to what the CBAC has to say. I know sometimes it feels as though that perhaps that the council doesn't, but I think the council values the input of the CBAC. In fact, that's one of the things that the council, we look very diligently to appoint people who are going to be very present in that committee, and I'm sure, I know for myself, but I'm sure council members check back and make sure that the CBAC is getting what they need, and we engage with them all throughout the process. 160/2015, Director Mays, what are the conditions of us receiving this grant?
All I can tell you pretty much is that what the resolution says, I'm not absolutely sure about the formula on how the monies are compiled, so I can't really answer that question at this time.
How was the grant monies used?
The grant monies are used for various reasons, for various situations, mainly if there's purchase of any materials that are used to clean up at different events, and also some of these funds are also used to pay some members of Public Works that work on the weekends as well. This resolution, if that's not enough information, I'm prepared to withdraw it and have it come back. It should have more detail on it.
Are these the funds that we use, for instance, when there's a ward cleanup?
Yes.
Okay, so those are the funds that we.
But I don't know the formula. I just don't know.
No, I'm
it.
saying I just want to make sure it's the same group. I got you. Ordinance 26, 2015. Councilman Corbett, did you hear Ms. Gordon's remark?
I did. As far as I know, the language is pretty good. Mr. Harris? I mean, it sounds pretty precise to me.
While we're waiting for them to review that, Ms. Gordon also made a suggestion regarding that the reports that come out, that they make it statutory that it be mailed to the residents. Director Mays, I know at one time it was mailed. I'd like the idea of it being them going back to mailing the report. So can you have a conversation and just bring that back as to, I understand cutting costs, but they are receiving funds, so that should be a part of their customer service. Legislative Research Officer? Yes.
Yes. Good evening, members of council, members of the public. Kevin Harris, Legislative Research Officer. Reviewing the ordinance with council, ordinance number 26, 2015 with Councilman Corbett, it is my belief that the ordinance is properly drafted in referring to emergency vehicles as those not utilized by the police and fire departments and those utilized by city employees during hours when City Hall is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Gordon, for noting that the streets are getting cleaner. And thank you, Director Mays. That will come out of your department. Director Matt? Regarding the bulk lien, has that money been deposited?
To the best of my knowledge, it has not. But I will confirm and get back to you.
Okay, and it would be 7 days from, what day did we? 27th. So they had from 7, so they actually have until tomorrow? Yeah. They have until tomorrow, right? Because it was last Thursday. Okay. Regarding, thank you, Mr. Matt. Regarding the ordinance to change the time for public comments during this previous session, citizens' comments, have you received Ms. Lanier, have you received anything from the mayor's office regarding a veto? Did he sign off on it, the ordinance to change? He did? Yes. Okay, so Mr. Feld, the mayor did sign off on that ordinance.
I need to double check that myself though, because I can't confirm that.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So can you email Mr. Bell tomorrow?
Yes.
And as well as the council. The emergency temporary appropriations have been approved by the budget consultant, reviewed and approved by the budget consultant. Were you aware that the June 20, can you please check into June 25th, 2014 special meeting that is not, June 25th, 2014 minutes that have appear not to be available. Okay. And the special meeting that was omitted, are they being worked on?
The special
In
meeting from
April.
last week?
Did you say from April, Mr. Phil?
It was last week. We're
On the
working
Y?
meetings. Yeah,
On the Y.
we're
So
working on that.
working on it, okay. Mr. White, you were not here. Mr. Feld,
Council President, point of order.
yes.
And I know you have a tendency to try and answer every question,
Mhm.
but being that we had no city attorney there, the questions that was asked him that's of legal connotation, would you, I suggest that you not try and answer them and give them to Mr. White.
I'm good. I was asking Aaron
but,
White.
but there were some earlier ones that you tried to answer. I think we should give them all to the legal department and let them to respond.
And what question did you think was legal?
Right.
Which one?
Most of the ones that were talking about the why. I think they need a legal response.
I didn't answer anything about the why yet.
I think you, I
No.
misunderstood something, but I think you did
No,
say
I haven't
something
answered.
about,
The first one, I just went to Mr.
about
White.
what we did as it concerned the why.
I
You
haven't
did
done
answer-
anything. No,
You
I haven't.
didn't answer that part of it. You said we something about the Board of Education.
I said
aspect.
regarding the Orange Board of Education,
I'm
that was the
saying, I
board,
just
but
think
let me, Councilwoman
most of
Eaton,
them
let,
just should be answered by the legal department.
but that was the Board of School of Estimates, and we did approve that.
And
That's what
fine.
I was talking about.
But what I'm saying, I think they all should be answered by the legal department.
Mr. White, as I was continuing to say, you were not here. Did you get a copy of, Councilwoman Easton, can you share with, oh, you do?
I have that.
Do you have it in front of you?
I have that document.
Okay, Mr. Feld, question, two things. This lease, being signed and saying that it, was approved by the city council and $100,000 that was transferred, at the, by the administration with the authority of the city council. Do you have a response to that, sir?
What's the question?
Was it approved by the city council, and did the council give authority for the monies to be transferred?
I believe there was a resolution that approved the.
You guys talking to the mic, sir.
I believe there was a resolution that authorized the entry into a lease agreement with the trustee.
Okay.
I don't have that resolution in front of me right now, but I recall a resolution.
Okay, so the resolution gave the authority for both the transfer and the signing of the lease?
Well, I don't have the resolution in front of me.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Feld, you would have to visit the legal department to get a response to that? 62. Again, 160-2015 has been reviewed and approved by the budget consultant. And 161-2015, is this, Director Mays, is it proper that this council should be doing this as opposed to the developer?
Yeah, this is actually a road project and a public plaza project, and that's what we're asking for the professional construction administration and inspection services for. This is similar to a road project that we would be doing on any street in Orange. It's just that this road project is part of the RPM development project. So that's what this is, and this is old funds, and this money needs to be spent. So this is totally appropriate to go forward with.
Thank you. 34-2015, Mr. Lewis asked, has the engineer approved this? This did not go before the engineer, however, it did go before the police department, Captain Dunn, and it was discussed with myself and Councilman Coley in terms of, and as I think it's pretty much the same thing that Councilman Johnson Jr. spoke to in terms of commercial vehicles parking on the street and residents who live there coming home and not having a place to park. And there has been a period from February up until now where the police department has been engaged with going on that street and giving tickets to commercial vehicles that continue to park on that street, and also causing the hardship that is causing residents who live there when they're coming home at various hours. They have to park further and further away from their house, and they have to walk, you know, at all different hours of the night. And I believe that's it. Going to council comments. Council members?
Council
Councilman
President,
Johnson, Jr.
I'll be first today. I'd like to thank Mr. Fell for bringing to our attention that there was a lease agreement entered into. For some odd reason or another, we just can't seem to get this partnership going with the administration where there's openness and honestness. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm just baffled by the fact that here we go again, the goalpost got moved. I'm just skimming through this document that I was presented with tonight, and I see no language in it, unless I'm missing it, about the $62,000 lien on the water for the Y. And I've asked Mr. Mobley and I've asked somebody else, I don't know if it was Dan Smith, for somebody to explain to me if the city's going to be within legal rights to forgive all the water bills that are still outstanding from the Y since they went into receivership. Every month or every whatever cycle, the Y is being billed for water and sewage. Nobody's talking about it. We don't know how much is being owed. And I'm afraid that somewhere down the line, some books are going to get shifted and that those bills are going to disappear. Somebody needs to tell me soon from the administration, as of the day that this receivership finalized the debtors, how much does that building, the YWCA, owe the city in outstanding water and sewer bills? I don't see anything in the language. I may have missed it, and I'll review it further, but I don't see anything in this document that they're even talking about the old liens or how much outstanding water is left to be paid. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members? Councilman Corbett?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to follow up with Mr. Mays. A few council meetings back, we specifically asked about the use of Central Playground, the leasing of it to certain individuals who I guess are playing soccer on the field, how that money is being paid and how it's being collected. And the same theory applies to the Y. When folks are using that facility, we also understand that folks are leasing it, but we're not understanding exactly how they're being paid, whether it's through check or cash, and who is receiving the money for both of those two entities.
Director Mays?
Yeah, I have to get a response for that.
Thank you. Attorney Smith? I'm sorry. Attorney White?
I just wanted to respond to Councilman Johnson Jr.'s point. I think paragraph 31 at the bottom.
Page
12.
Page 12?
Yeah.
Extras.
You see it?
At the bottom, down the title survey?
Yeah, the last
sentence.
It provides for that to be paid.
Okay, that's half of my concern. How about the outstanding water? No verbiage for that?
Current? Do you, Mr. Mapper, do you know anything about the current water bill for the YWCA?
No, I do not.
Can you find out if there's a current amount and is it paid, can you find out what the current?
I certainly can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And back to Councilman Corbett. And Director Mays, you said you'll get back to Councilman Corbett with that. Is that okay, Councilman Corbett?
Yes, and I also want to know, in addition to that, where those funds are deposited.
Okay. Is that all your council
Yes.
comments, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Councilman Coley?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I would like to thank Director Mays for getting off there and Guess that old fire scene cleaned up. I thank you for that. And 210 through 216 Hickory Street, that should be coming up real soon as far as the demolition. And Rioch Street. Rioch Street, I think the street is getting ready to cave in, and we really need to get some resources to address that. And I just have one question for you regarding the opening of the pools. Has a date been set yet? Do you know?
Believe the date is always July 1st. I can tell you that
Okay.
we took bids for the pool services and everything is underway.
Okay, all right, thank you. And those gas fence that PNC&G put up in the streets, if we could monitor those a little more than what we have been doing, because when they get knocked down, they just get knocked all over the place. And I thank you for getting that traffic light at May and Oakwood put up a few months ago, that temporary light. But is there any plans to get their permanent light up in place?
There are plans. I gotta give you an answer. I gotta check into that.
Okay.
See why it's taking so long.
All right, thank you. That's it.
And I'm coming, Councilman Corbett. Councilwoman Summers Johnson regarding the pools.
They normally open one pool, like the first weekend. If it's the first, they just open up one, like a skeleton crew, and then they open the rest after the 4th. But I'm not sure exactly which ones are going to open, but they always have one open. And they also, with that, they were interviewing lifeguards today, so they're still in need of lifeguards, definitely to cover Colgate and pool aids for the pools.
Thank you. Councilman Corbett, you have to come back?
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment. With regards to the street sweepers, I'm so happy to see them out and about doing what they do and making our streets look better. It would be great if we can get some assistance from the county now if they pull their own weight and start cleaning up the parts of town and the streets that they need to clean, because they've been missing since prior to our first snow. After that, I have not seen them. Thank you, Council President.
Councilman Eason?
Yeah, I also want to thank Mr. Mays for cleaning North Day. I was out there on Saturday with the contractor for a little while, because my concern was once you cleaned it, they did put a fence around it. I think the fence is down today. What is the plans to fill that? Because that is a large gap in the, there's a big open space.
Yeah,
so that no kids go over there to play and fall into that cement.
Yeah, it's complicated because it involves the insurance on one property, and it looks like the insurance is valid on one and not on the other. That's why we had to step in and clean it up. So I'm going to be talking to the insurance companies, and I'm going to have to get back to you on that, Councilwoman.
My understanding was half of it was owned by the city.
No.
That's what he thought. Half of it was owned by the city, and the other was by the owner.
No. The city is just stepping up to take care of it.
Yeah, because I was wondering how could a duplex be half, because I thought half was in foreclosure and half not. That's what he explained, but anyway. But even if we don't get the insurance, can we put, once he finished, a sturdier fence around it so that the kids can't play in that open pit? But
okay, I can do that.
Thanks so much for getting it clean. I was just in awe. The other thing I wanted to talk about, Mr. Mays. Oh, let me real quickly say, Ms. Stewart, thanks for the invite to Hayward Avenue, but unfortunately I do work, and I work in a school district, so every time something's come up, I'm not able to take off and come. I wish I could, but unfortunately that's not possible because there's other things I need to take days off for, and so sometimes my heart is there, but my body can't be there because I do work for a living, and I do work and try to be in the school as much as I can. My heart was there, right? But my body just couldn't make it. Mr. Mays, and there's been a lot of concern about cleaning the abandoned properties and the properties with overgrowth. And I know when you do it, you put a lien on the property. Is it any way so that we can recoup that money faster? We could add it to their tax bill. If you could come up with the proposal. What I'd like to do is to work with you to get a proposal together on what it would cost to clean each property based on the side and how much there is, the size, and then put something in place where instead of putting a lien on the property, we add it to their tax bill. And I think you'll probably see a lot more owners start to take care of their property. So I think we need to do that and forget about the lien, because that just takes too long to the city to get the money back. So maybe by sometimes next week we can get together and talk about that.
Okay.
But I must say, I'm with Councilman Corbett. The streets are much cleaner with the new sweepers. I mean, I ride through town there and it's not as, it's a lot better. Is there any way we can get that area between Washington and Dard by New Jersey Transit paved? I mean, we almost need to close that street off.
I'm telling you.
Because it's so bad.
Currently, what we're doing now is trying to come up with a list of the worst streets, and we've been going around over the last month trying to come up with the absolute worst streets. That's something that you haven't heard me talk about, and that street is actually on the list. Now, how fast we can get it done, maybe a year to a year and a half, but that street is on the list.
I'm so desperate, I'm writing New Jersey Transit to see if they will give us the money to pave it, because their buses do use it, and they're part of the reason.
Maybe we could do something jointly.
Yeah, with them. So I'm writing them a letter to the CEO to see if he can help us or come out and look at it and see if they can do it. And one of the other things I wanted to make the council, we need some laborers for public works. And I'm hoping when we do the budget tomorrow night, we need to talk about creative ways that we can come up with some money so they can hire some people. We have all of these new trucks and nobody to drive them. So they're strapped for manpower right now. We need to clean the streets up. And they haven't hired any new people in, I guess we got 2 since last budget, maybe 1 or 2. But some of the issues is that the guys call out sick. I think one day last week, most of them was out and they had nobody to do any work. So I think it's time for us to look at public works and put some money in the budget so he can hire some new laborers. All of us are concerned about how clean the city is, but you can't work without tools and people. The other thing is, and I'm going to talk briefly about the Public Works Committee, which I am a part of. And I just want the council to be careful. I mean, committees are good, but we need to be careful on how much power we give them. I'm not willing to give up my power as a councilwoman because it's my job to make sure. And I think as we put these committees together, they have to be more than a complaint section. I thought part of the reason we had committees was so that we could take a project or an issue and we would work on it, come out with some positive things that we could present to the council on how to move these things forward. But everything turns into a complaint. And I think we need to put them on a more positive plane, because we can complain about Public Works as much as we can. We can complain about Director Mays as much as you can. But I think he does a stellar job with the manpower he has and not have enough people to do the job. Everybody can't get everything all the time. So all of us is going to need to pitch in, roll up our sleeves and help do some of the things in this city that we need done. I'm willing to do that, and look for some partnerships, people that we can engage so that we can ask them to help us clean up a block or clean up a house or do some of those things, because one person can't do it all. So I'm hoping tomorrow night that we can revisit the Public Works budget and see if we can give him some money to hire some laborers. Thank you.
Council President?
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
I'll be short and sweet. First, I'd like to apologize for being late. As many of you know, I am a key person trying to raise my goddaughter along with her mom. And Park Avenue School had an art show at the Board of Education, and I thought it was my duty to be there for that. And I got over here as quickly as I could. But so if any of you are in the area of the Board of Education, the Park Avenue School's display is still up. Secondly, my meeting was put into the transcript, and just being a first-year council person, I tried to do South Ward meetings. I've done 3. My 4th meeting will be next Wednesday at 6 o'clock at Haywood Avenue School, and it's going to be inviting the children to do crime prevention for the summer. And the McGruff Crime Dog will be there, and we will also talk about pool safety, park safety. It was great having these meetings, and I want to tweak it for next year. I'm glad that I tried it. I want to try to do maybe 6 meetings next year, do them every other month, something like that, just to give the residents an opportunity to come out and meet with their council person. So I'm glad that I tried it. My attendance was not as high as possible, but I know next year we're going to be on TV. Flyers are going to be going home with every school because I'm claiming it. So, yeah, I'm claiming it. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Mays, have you committed to any streets being paved for this? What streets are we going to be paving in this 2015?
The next streets that you'll see paved are going to be Burnside Place, Jackson Street, Snyder Street, and Fairview Avenue, Lincoln Place, and Berwick Street, and Berwick, and shortly after that, weather permitting, it could be Ridge, and there's one more, Berryman. That's it.
Mr. Director Mays, what is the status of Oakwood Avenue between Main Street and Freeway Drive East?
You mean under the bridge, Council President?
Yeah, I really mean between Main Street and Freeway Drive East, because it's bad.
The whole thing. That's one of the streets that I just had said we went around, and we actually going to change some of the streets that we are looking at and add these other ones. For example, North Day is one. William Street, when you go right here in front of the Armory. So we got about 10 streets that we looking to add. But that one that you asked me about is one of the ones we looking at doing.
Okay.
And I said in that next 1.5 to 2 year time frame.
Okay. Well, I think if we had to go through another winter, that area would be bad. And also coming across Center Street, coming from Main Street to Freeway Drive. As soon as you go under the bridge, so under the bridge, really Freeway Drive, where the auto place is a tremendous hole there.
Okay.
Big hole. And that's probably in front of the area where they have the new apartments at.
Okay.
Right there, across from the
Cena's? Across from Cena's?
What's the
I'm sorry.
No, right on Center. So right across from the houses, the Grove development.
Okay.
So right in front of that area.
Okay.
There is a tremendous hole there. Filling it would be great, but I know those areas are very challenging going under the bridges.
Council President, just one quick comment while we're on the potholes and the repaving of the streets. I know that we cannot predict water main breaks and gas leaks and things like that, but these streets that you are anticipating on resurfacing, is it possible that whatever underground work that needs to be done could be done at that time rather than paving the road and then 6 months later, breaking the street up and then making it look, horrible all over again?
That's what we try to do when we have our pre-construction meetings. We invite all the utilities, and that really came. I don't know what's on Jackson Street, but all the utilities came for Jackson Street. I guess there's something under there or something. So that's what we try to do, and that's what we talk about in the pre-construction meetings.
Thank you.
And finally, Director Mays, I understand our representative or the community representative for New Jersey Transit, Sally, has or is.
I believe it's July 1st.
Can we, just because she's so seasoned, can we see if we can get her here?
Okay.
Next meeting? Just because the property, a lot of the properties around New Jersey Transit now, she just is, so she's a community representative liaison for both the bus and the train side?
Yes. the
Okay,
whole-
so can you see if she can come?
Okay.
Just because there are several things I would like her to, we would like her to update the person that's going to be filling.
You know, actually, I had a meeting, and our new person is going to be, who we all know, Mr. I think it's Larry Ham.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
He's going to be
That'll
our
get
new
done.
liaison.
Okay. Well, see if they can both come to
Okay.
the next meeting.
Coun- Council President, if I may, while we're on this subject, because we broached this last meeting, generally May is the month that the mayors of towns receive award letters from the Department of Transportation Trust Fund. And we're doing all this talking, and nobody's, it's now June the 3rd. I mean, have we received anything?
Director Mays?
Yeah, we have received it. I believe it's about $311,000. I had the award letter today. I don't have it here, but I think that's what it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you can see if you can do it for the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Council members, that's all I have. Clerk, if you can move the agenda, please. No, we don't. Ordinances.
Ordinances, second reading, public hearing. 24-2015, an ordinance creating the City of Orange Township Arts and Cultural Commission and to further provide for membership tasks and responsibilities, other administrative functions, and other general provisions, sponsored by Councilmember Galt Butler.
So, just for the record before we start, 25 will be postponed to a later meeting. And at the appropriate time, Legislative Research Officer Kevin Harris will come up and do the amendments on 26. But now we're on 24. I'm sorry, did you read the page? Yes. Okay. Is there anybody from the public that'd like to be heard on 24, 2015?
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason. Yes. Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well. Motion to adopt on final reading.
Move.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Corbett. Second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, Councilwoman Eason.
I'm sorry, I meant to do this during our hearing, but I have 3 concerns, and I should have addressed them earlier. I apologize. They said the commission made of 9 members.
Tell us where you're at, Councilwoman.
I'm on there. And I was hoping Councilwoman Blunt was going to be here.
So you're on page, I'm sorry.
On the back of the first page where it
Yeah,
says
oh,
the
section
commission,
3,
9 members, and the 9 members will be appointed, 6 by the mayor, and 3 regular members by city council. And down and further in the body, it says that the council can remove any members for cause. I'm trying to see.
Councilwoman Eason, could we do, I would like to entertain a motion to table.
Second.
I made a motion to table, second by Councilman Corbett. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.?
Yes.
And I am in favor. This will be tabled.
Thank you.
And again, did I say 25 was being postponed?
Yes.
25 is postponed, and 26, Mr. Harris, can you please state what the amendments will be?
Good evening, all. Kevin Harris, Legislative Research Officer. The amendment is going to be made in the ordinance under section 23:1-7.9. 26, Councilwoman. In the language to be added, I'm going to say the third sentence from the bottom of the first paragraph, defining non-emergency vehicles.
So starting at said,
In that non-emergency vehicles.
I'm sorry, just tell us where you're starting at.
Okay, I'm starting.
Third sentence.
Yes.
At said personnel?
Oh, no. Before said personnel. The sentence prior to said personnel. Non-emergency vehicles.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, non-emergency, the language will read, non-emergency vehicles for the purposes of this section shall include vehicles not utilized by the fire and police departments, and should also include those vehicles utilized by city personnel during hours when City Hall is closed. That's the amendment.
Include those vehicles utilized by
those vehicles utilized by city personnel during hours when City Hall is closed.
Okay.
That's the amendment. It doesn't materially alter the ordinance.
No, it doesn't. I mean, because that's logical to me that if City Hall is closed and we're asking them not to take the vehicles home with them, then obviously they won't be using them when City Hall is closed.
Some may, Councilman.
All right, I'll accept
That's
it.
where your legal arguments come from. So get it down, write it down, make it plain. Okay, so before this we'll be voting on as amended, and the corrected document will be the one that's signed. Is there anybody from? I'm sorry. Go ahead. 26.
26-2015. An ordinance amending Chapter 23 of the Municipal Code of the City of Orange Township regarding personnel policies, sponsored by Councilmember Corbett.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to be heard on this ordinance?
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Easton. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well. Motion to adopt on final reading
Move.
as amended.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
Ordinance 32-2015. An ordinance establishing a water and sewer billing policy for the City of Orange Township.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to be heard on this? Ms. Stewart?
Gloria Stewart, resident of Orange. And I'm reading the interpretive statement, but I'm still not quite sure of what you're saying. The purpose is, you said the building policy is to provide guidelines, and I guess I want to understand what guidelines and intentions. Could you?
Just, 1 second. There are several, I think what the intentions are, Ms. Stewart, is to make sure that we receive water billing in a more timely fashion. And to make sure that we're consistent with the rules that are there in place, and collection, and more from a collection standpoint. It does have, on this page, do you have the ordinance in front of you?
I do have it.
Okay, and it has the different, when the collection should take place.
No.
Do you have that?
It's not that clear. No, I just have,
Let me, you just have the, you just have the.
I don't have them. You do have it, the information?
I think Director, Mr. Director Matt, can you speak to this anymore?
I'll give it back to you. Speak to which item, Counselor?
Yes, can you give a summary?
Pardon me?
Can you give a summary of the intent of 32-2015?
An ordinance?
Yes.
No, I cannot, since I was not involved with this ordinance.
Okay, so it basically, the intent was to improve our collection rate and to ensure.
That's right.
Go ahead, Director.
I'm sorry. Essentially, that's what this is. This is a attempt to improve our collection rate. As many of you know, I forgot what the figure is. I think it's over $1 million owed. And right now, Orange, we don't shut off any water. I say for the last year, we've been taking individuals to court for their water, and we've had some success, but I don't think we're going to have any real success until we start turning people's water off. And it's not just residential, it's also commercial as well. And also, I can speak to this because I had a couple of situations over the last year where have been certain incidents that have taken place in individual houses, for example, where the situation was not included in any policy. So it was like in limbo in terms of what we could do. I'll give you an example. People have had problems in their homes, and their average bill was, for example, $200 or whatever, and because of this water issue or water leak, the bill was now $5,000. Like, what do you do in that situation? And I know that those things were also included in this policy as well, but the basis is to improve the collections and have the ability to shut off water and condemn these people to pay.
Okay, given that, what would be the, 5,000 is like really high. That's not even description. But will you have like a?
Yeah, because even though it's an individual's homeowner responsibility to maintain their pipes, but do you really charge somebody $5,000 for excessive water leaks? So those things are written in there now because we had no policy on that before.
But is there some way to help them now? Sometimes you might have a leak and not be aware of that's happening. And is there something that's built in for the resident?
Now there is.
Okay, but not to be detrimental to the resident, because shutting the water off is like really, not healthy or safe, depending on what's going on. You understand where I'm coming from?
But not shutting the water off in the situation with the homeowner with the leak. Not in that situation. But in other situations where people are just not paying.
Okay. All right, just consideration is all, Okay.
Thank you. There will be an amendment. I'm sorry. Go, Ms. Gordon.
Thank you. Hearing this, an example comes to mind. My neighbor had a tenant who let the water in the toilet run, not caring about it for 3 months, I think, and came up with a horrendous water bill. So that was no surprise, just straight negligence. What do you do with such a thing? I mean, this kind of things should not be simply shouldered by the other residents either. There has to be a reasonable balance. Another point I want to make is, because this is a billing policy, a year ago when the water payment structure was discussed here in connection with raising the water rates. I mentioned that some small users are shouldering also larger water users. I took myself as an example. During the 30 years I have been here, or 30-some years, as a homeowner, I have never yet reached the the minimum usage that I am paying for. Usually one uses the minimum that is the water usage that is included in the minimum is 10 cubic, whatever, 10 units. My water usage is fluctuating between maybe 5 and 7. So clearly I am paying regularly for some other people who are way above. So Mr. Mobley at that point promised to look into this, and that was the last time I heard about this issue. I would like that to be reconsidered.
Thank you, yes. Director, May, you writing it down? Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else from the public?
Motion to close.
A motion to close.
Second.
By Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Neeson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well. Before we vote on 32/2015, there is an amendment. Under section 2, there's an approved date. Can you scratch that out? That date is not correct. See where it says approved up until,
5th day of May.
that should be removed. Okay.
32.
A motion to vote. You ready?
Move.
Everybody for public, everybody has that statement removed? Okay. A motion to adopt on final reading.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Easton. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
Ordinance introductions, first reading. 33-2015, an ordinance adopting amendments to the Central Orange redevelopment plan.
Is there a motion to adopt on
Move.
first reading?
Second.
First by Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Neeson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
34-2015, an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Section 200-10.2, Residential Parking Permit.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt on first reading by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Neeson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
35-2015, an ordinance repealing Chapter 156, Article 18 of the Municipal Code of the City of Orange Township, entitled Abandoned Property.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson Jr. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
36-2015, an ordinance amending Chapter 156, Article 21 of the Municipal Code of the City of Orange Township, entitled Vacant Property Registration.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by
Second.
Councilman Corbett, second by Councilman Johnson Jr. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well. The public hearing for 33, 34, 35, and 36, 2015 will be on July 1st, 2015.
Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda.
Council member, are there any resolutions that you would like to remove for a separate vote? If 162.
2015, do we need 5, right?
You want to move 162?
Do we need 5 votes for that one?
But if it's on the
Yeah, you
consent,
do.
If it's on the
you get
consent
that.
agenda,
You need 5 votes.
but if you, on the consent agenda, you have 1, 2,
You'll
3,
get that.
4, 5,
You
6.
get 6.
That's fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
Council President,
Yes.
163, 2015.
163, 2015, okay. Are there any others? Yes, 1 second. Council members, 134, 2015, we're gonna remove for a separate vote, and I am going to, recommend that we vote it down and wait for the, because they have not sent anything to the clerk's office in terms of updating this resolution. So I'm gonna remove 134, 2015 for a separate vote as well.
Council President, can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
I do have we just finished up today with the document that's coming to you guys. It's not ready to hand out now, but we did the research for all the towns. So I'm just wanting to let you know that. I was gonna say that earlier. So you guys will be getting this hopefully in the next day or two.
So is it your recommendation that you would like to leave this?
I just like to leave it. We did all the research for all the towns here. We just got a chance today to go over it as a group, and it's here, it's coming.
Okay.
So
all right.
I mean, you know,
So then council members will continue to postpone 134, 2015. Thank you, Director Mays. So what we are removing is 163, 2015. We're going to do our consent agenda now.
Consent agenda, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 164, and 165.
Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Corbett, second by Councilwoman Eason. Roll call, Councilman Coley,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
And I am in favor as well.
Resolution 163, 2015. A resolution approving the bill list for council meeting vote of June 3rd, 2015, dated May 29th, 2015, and approving checks issued by the Finance Department in accordance with Ordinance 2-95. Grand total, $6,134,419.68.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett,
Second.
second by Councilman Coley. On the motion? Zero on the motion?
You're on the motion. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
On the motion.
Okay,
I thought I highlighted. It's a payment for some pet at a pet hospital. Do we have a canine crew?
do we have a K-9 crew?
Yeah. Do we have a canine
Director
crew?
Wade, do we have a K-9 crew?
That's it. I thought I highlighted
What
it.
pa-
Yes, we do. We do have a K-9 officer. And as a matter of fact, he's one of my soon-to-be retirees.
On page 7.
Page
I'm
seven.
sorry about it. I didn't highlight. On page 7, the third line item down. Essex Animal Hospital canine medical exam.
Yes,
Dead
those.
police.
Yes, those are for, the dog has to go through certain types of treatments and checkups on a regular basis.
Okay. I was unaware of that, so I didn't know whose pet it was. Okay.
It's mine.
Council President to Director Wade. So does Poker retire with Gerardo?
The dog goes with the handler when the handler retires.
Oh, what's that? Are you getting a replacement?
I am currently contemplating that. As a matter of fact, I've gave some instruction to do some research on some things I'd like to see done with K9 as it relates to narcotics, guns, and explosives only.
Okay.
Before we on that, could I ask Director Mays a real quick question?
Oh, the K-9?
Do we have the new animal truck?
not yet. It's been ordered. Not yet. We don't have.
This is in the process?
Yes, it'll be here. It's coming.
Director Matt, on the bill list page, I may have overlooked this before, but do we have a new wireless provider?
Is there a particular
Let's
item?
think wireless.
What
Page
page are you on?
7.
Page 7?
Mhm.
Which, oh, page 7. And which item are you referring to?
Do we have a new wireless provider? Let's think wireless.
That's the Orange
The
Police
30,000?
Department. It's Orange Police.
You referring to the 30,000?
Right, okay, so. Okay.
It's Orange Police.
Okay.
So they've been there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has, where's, the director? It's probably his,
Do you know? No?
That
Camera
is a contractual
Okay.
obligation that pertains to the Orange Police Department, and this is the vendor that provides the service.
Okay.
It is not anything out of the norm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Director, Councilwoman Easton, on page 5, the decals are back on here, have that been
That's
record?
what I was gonna ask.
Okay.
I was looking for that.
Page 5 at the bottom.
Where?
It's the last thing at the bottom.
I know. Director Mays? I thought we were asked the mayor to pay for that.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I didn't know that this was back on.
Not only to ask them to pay for it, but ask them to remove that stuff that's on the bottom of those logos. That information really shouldn't be there. And if he's slow about moving it, then it becomes engraved. Then the next person that comes in and takes that off, it's not good.
And I was told by his chief of staff that was not the logo that she approved. But anyway, there was a different logo, so, and that was never part of it.
So we're gonna remove the 176 again. Director Matt, can you take note of that as well? Page 5, the last item. Thank you. If there's nothing else, we're voting on 163, 2015 as amended, removing $176. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.?
No.
And I am in favor.
5 yeas, 1 nay. Motion passed.
Okay. Before, are there any things that we missed before we leave? Councilwoman Eason?
On Thursday, the 11th at 6 o'clock,
Please, everybody, we're not adjourned, so
the
Councilwoman.
Big Old Booster Club will hold its annual athletic banquet.
Mhm.
So as many as you can. It is $15 and it's at Lincoln Avenue School.
Use your auditorium voice, Councilwoman.
Yeah, please.
On Thursday, June the 11th, 6 o'clock, the Big Old Booster Club will hold its annual athletic banquet where we give out the scholarships. It's at Lincoln Avenue School. Please attend. Show some
And how much
unity.
are tickets, Councilwoman?
The tickets are $15.
Thank you.
Just a
And we have a
reminder,
dynamite guest speaker.
the budget workshop, 6:30 tomorrow.
Thank you. And yesterday was election day, and congratulations on all those who prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor? Junior. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned at 9:35.